The Berlin winter was merciless. Snowflakes drifted lazily from the overcast sky, blanketing the streets in icy silence. Lena huddled in her threadbare coat, her breath forming clouds in the air. The line at the soup kitchen snaked around the block, and her fingers ached from the cold .at24. This was her life, endless shifts at a diner, sleepless nights in a cramped apartment, and the gnawing shame of failure. The dream of becoming a computer engineer felt like a cruel joke now. The apartment she shared with her mother and younger brother, Leo, was a relic of post-war Berlin, tiny, drafty, and barely holding together. Every corner told a story of struggle, the cracked wallpaper, the leaky faucet, and the stack of unopened bills on the kitchen counter. Lena's father had left years ago, unable to cope with the collapse of their family bakery. Her mother worked long hours cleaning office buildings, and Lena picked up the slack wherever she could. Still, it wasn't enough. That night, Lena sat by the frosted window, watching the city lights blur through the glass. Her notebook lay open on the table, filled with sketches and ideas for projects she couldn't afford to pursue. "I can't keep living like this," she whispered to herself. The words hung in the air, a quiet declaration of war against her circumstances. The next morning, Lena woke up before dawn. Her breath was visible in the freezing apartment, but she didn't care. She wrapped herself in her coat and made her way to the local library. Her sanctuary in a world that often felt unforgiving. The library was a small, unassuming building tucked between a bakery and a pharmacy. Inside, it smelled of old books and coffee. Lena claimed her usual spot near the radiator, flipping open a book on digital marketing. "Back again, Lena?" Frau Keller, the elderly librarian, asked with a smile. "That I have to be," Lena replied. "If I don't learn, I'll never get out of this mess." Frau Keller patted her shoulder. "Keep at it, child. Knowledge is the one thing no one can take from you." Lena spent hours reading, taking meticulous notes, and planning her next steps. She found free online courses and tutorials, her laptop a clunky second-hand model that overheated after an hour of use. Her routine became relentless: work at the diner from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., study at the library until it closed, then practice coding at home late into the night. One evening at the diner, Lena overheard a conversation between two customers. "I am telling you, the tech industry is exploding," one of them said. "Web developers are making a killing right now." Lena perked up. Web development. It sounded intimidating, but something about it sparked her curiosity. That night, she dove into research, finding a free coding bootcamp online. Her first attempts were disastrous. Lines of code refused to cooperate, her designs looked amateurish, and error messages became her constant companions. But Lena was stubborn. Every failure became a challenge she was determined to overcome.
"Why are you always on that computer?"
Leo asked one night, peering over her shoulder.
"Because I have to be,"
Lena replied. "This is how I'll change things for us." Leo nodded solemnly. At 12, he understood more about struggle than any child should. Weeks turned into months, and Lena's skills began to take shape. She built her first website, a simple portfolio for a local photographer. The payment was modest, but it felt like a windfall. One Sunday, exhausted from weeks of non-stop hustle, Lena wandered into a small church near Alexanderplatz. The stained glass windows cast colorful patterns on the pews, and the choir's voices filled the air with warmth. Lena sat at the back, her head bowed. "God," she whispered.
"This is pointless,"
she muttered, but then she remembered something she'd read in a book at the library. "Failure is just feedback." Lena grabbed her notebook and wrote down every lesson she'd learned from the rejection. Creating stories that captivate and inspire you is what we love to do. But we can't do it without your support. If you've enjoyed even one of our videos, here's how you can help us keep going. Subscribe. Just one click means the world to us and keeps you updated on our latest content. Your thumbs up tells us we're on the right track and helps more people find us. Watch to the end, every second counts and helps us grow. Share. If you enjoy it, why not share it with friends or family? We're building something special here, and with your help, we can reach even more hearts. Thank you for being part of this journey. It's just the beginning. Hit the subscribe button, stick around, and let's create magic together. Slowly, she began to see setbacks not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones. She also made a conscious effort to change her environment. She joined a local networking group for young professionals, surrounding herself with people who inspired her. Lena, your determination is incredible, said Max, a fellow coder she met at one of the events. Have you thought about expanding your skills into app development? The idea excited Lena. She began exploring app development in her free time, adding another layer to her growing expertise. 5 years later, Lena stood on the stage of a global tech summit in London, her heart pounding as she faced an audience of thousands. The spotlight was blinding, but Lena didn't flinch. She took a deep breath and began to speak. My name is Lena Schmidt, and 5 years ago, I was a waitress in Berlin. Today, I run my own tech company, helping businesses build digital solutions. But my journey wasn't easy. She spoke about the cold winters, the endless nights of work, and the moments of doubt that nearly broke her. She shared how discipline, faith, and a relentless mindset had transformed her life. As the audience erupted into applause, Lena felt a surge of gratitude. She had risen from the ashes not just for herself, but for her family and everyone who believed in her. Her mother, sitting in the front row with tears streaming down her face, clapped the loudest.
Every masterpiece begins with a single stroke, and every big picture starts with a bold first step. Whatever dream you're painting, today is the perfect time to pick up the brush. Start now because the journey to greatness always begins somewhere.